It is my role to wrap up the conference. I'm aware of the time and of what is going on. Well, at least where I'm in Krakow, well, the time has come to do something comfy and cozy, like, for example, starting your favorite TV series, but that would not be fair to the organizers of the conference. That is why instead I will try to recapitulate on what we've heard within the conference instead. At the moment, I would also like to thank for inviting us as Business Alert to hold a media patronage over the conference. It is very important for us. We are honored, and we would like to thank you for that opportunity. Now, moving on to the core of this session, what is about most important in this conference is something that Marek Foltynowicz has mentioned, that we opened up nicely and we are also finishing nicely. That means that we started with technology and we ended on technical novelties that are available abroad, that, given the speakers are those available in Germany mostly. We can see that Germany is the trend setter, at least for one of the directions of this power transformation. And it is very important for us Poles, because I think that we should be looking at Germany and to a certain extent follow the pattern. So the last presentations, like the ones from the yesterday's technological panel, Ballard, Kia, Siemens, were very valuable. It is owing to the cluster and the conference like that we can stay up to date with all the novelties that other companies have come up with and use as everyday solutions. Another thing that has drawn my attention is this domino effect. This was the Americans call the big picture, the scale of changes connected with energy transformation, with alternative fuels, with unconventional propulsion systems is so big that it goes beyond the border of the transportation sector and motoring. I'm talking here about the railways, about sea shipping. I'm talking here about mining. There are works done to convert gas turbines that today are fueled with natural gas, or for which natural gas is a fuel, for them to be supplied with hydrogen. So generally this energy transformation goes beyond the motor industry that it originated within, and it has its impact on further areas, further branches of the economy. And this is very important. It's also important from the point of view of all the participants in this process. We can see how broader scale it has become. Another important thing to notice, which is not always expressed, but I think it is important to emphasize it, is that we cannot be illusioned here and believing that EU is bringing about the green order for idealistic reasons only. Of course, we all want to live on the cleaner planet and we would like to stop polluting it. But I think that Europe simply is running out of its patents. The last technologies that the Europeans have implemented on a large scale concerned cell telephones, but those technologies have been pushed out by Apple or Samsung that introduced another technology, that is smartwatches. So the tools that are more technologically advanced, and well, they have been making money on it. It is not to be read out as me criticizing Europe. Well, Europe simply tries to develop technologies concerning energy transformation so that in the future it can benefit from it and make a profit from commercializing these solutions and simply using them on a broader scale. And from our point of view as a member state of the European Union, let us ask a question whether we will benefit from these changes. Well, today we know that we will not be the leaders because the directions for the changes are set by other countries, other companies, but will we be strong enough to be able to cooperate with them, or will we be just consuming the solutions? Or maybe will we be just a nation that in 10 or 20 years' time will simply be doomed to purchasing the solutions. And this is a question to our government, this is a question to Polish champions, to the companies whose representatives we've had a chance to listen to today as well. We need to realize that the issues concerning, for example, consolidation of various companies under the umbrella of Orlen has as many advocates as opponents, but we can see today that, for example, the projects of developing alternative fuels and technologies accompanying them that are developed by one entity, like Orlen, speak in favor for the fusion, for the transformation, for consolidating not only Lotos with Orlen, but also with Energa or Pchet2020, because we need to make it clear. Be it Lotos or Pchet2020, they are far more advanced in the context of developing the projects relying on hydrogen than Orlen itself. So basically it would be good
ślubnym posagu, że tak powiem, te nowinki w stylu projektów.
If with its dowry, Orlen brings in or benefits from what the other entities bring in, like Hesto or the other projects mentioned, this is one thing. Another one is something that results from the governmental policy. We keep on saying that we are waiting for the hydrogen strategy to be announced. It is not there yet. Some of the countries have the strategies, others are in the process of developing them, like we are. But the petrochemical sector is very strongly connected with the budget of our country. The policy of green deal is directed to this sector that should be mitigating the changes and should be really creating the changes itself. So this pillar of the state budget that we've built within the 30 years of the development of the free market economy has to be modified, and nobody will do that for us. And on the way we manage to change it, a lot will depend. It is also the role for the cluster to mitigate the impact of the big ones. I understand that the companies like Orlen, Lotos, Pchet2020 are not project-based but process-based companies, and they have a lot of current activities that simply will have to be carried out on a daily basis. But the conference, the last 2 days of the conference show us that it is worthwhile talking about it and also introducing these companies into a dialogue, because when they have no innovators or ideas, what they do have is the potential and the capital to push forward the power transformation. So much from me, thank you very much. I have always wanted to say it watching various transmissions, sporting transmissions, and what we've heard from Szaranowicz or Szpakowski, sport commentators. I give the voice back to the studio. The studio accepts the voice back from you. I agree with you that to our feeling, especially mine, the conference has met its goal, which was information exchange. What I always expected from such conferences is prospecting for novelties or learning new things or listening to those who present new ideas. I enjoyed that presented by Jorgo on potentially a different use of Nord Stream 2. A very good example for me is the approach of NOW to different options of searching for such ways of adjusting the tariffs in their country, that when hydrogen, green hydrogen, is produced from renewable energy sources, no transmission tariff should be charged and transmission fee should be charged. And the last session that abounded in examples that we should follow. The greatest surprise for me was the one presented by Professor Brzeziński, I believe it was yesterday, was that he said that there were no zero-emission cars, because actually they do emit certain amount of particles from brakes from clutches or tires. But still, what we are talking about is mostly the emissions from the exhaust pipe, which is something that you do not have on hybrid cars. What do you think, Tomek? Well, it is hard not to agree with you, but what is lacking here is courage, really, because we are talking about projects, we are talking about learning, testing, how to put a dispenser to the tank, and we will learn how to refuel hydrogen, whilst in Europe they're talking about 100 megawatts of electrolyzers. They talk about large-scale projects. They're at a completely different stage, so we should be bolder in making decisions. We need to make decisions. The entire power engineering is based on coal, but soon it will be based on the wind. If we fail to do our homework right, then, like we are suffering the problems connected with coal today, we are going to have new ones concerning wind, because, for example, we will have the most expensive electricity. The whole system that Jorgo told us about will not be prepared for what is coming. So like we have problem with coal today, then maybe in 10 to 15 years another one will be there that they will not be able to handle, because the question is what will be an alternative energy carrier if not the wind. So I agree with the colleague who spoke before, that provided we take bold decisions, provided we answer the question of which direction to go, all the other things will be important, but we will simply oversleep the moment that is the right moment for us to act. We are still talking about whether we should go towards the nuclear or the wind, but looking at the location of the locations of the wind farms on the sea, well, we are talking about the same spots. So somebody will have to make a bold decision of what we are betting on. The Hestor project, well, among others too. But it is true that, well, I will end on this note. In Europe, as I said yesterday, they do not say hydrogen and offshore. They say offshore, they mean hydrogen, they think hydrogen, they mean offshore. Yeah, thank you very much. I believe that our conversations now prove that one of the topics of next year's edition of the conference is already clear. And absolutely already now we would like to invite you to the next year's edition. Well, we will have to, call it a bluff, and we will have to check how many of the promises made will have proven kept by next year. I would like to thank wholeheartedly to those participants of the conference who have been us until now. We know that there are still 50 with us and around 7 or 8 people from other countries. So it is our pleasure that so many of you have borne with us until now. Thank you very much. I would like to thank the sponsors of ours. I would like to thank the strategic sponsor, the Lotos Group, the Fronius, Siemens and Samsung companies. We would also like to thank the Minister of Climate for holding the honorary patronage. We'd like to thank the Marshal of the Pomorskie Voivodeship and the Mayor of the City of Gdynia for their auspices. We would like to thank Business Alert. Mateusz, please say hello to your bosses, and I hope that you will write a short commentary about our conference. I would like to thank Luminaries for their technical support. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and please do feel invited to the 4th conference that again will be held late September, early October next year, and it will have 2 days too, because hydrogen is 2 atoms. Thank you very much. Goodbye, good night. See you next year.
Wir befinden uns hier vor unserem neuesten Produkt, dem Fronius Soul-Hub. Das ist ein dezentraler Knotenpunkt für Sonnenenergie. Hier im Soul-Hub wird Sonnenenergie mittels Elektrolyse in Wasserstoff verwandelt. Der Wasserstoff kann dann für wasserstoffbetriebene Fahrzeuge abgetankt werden oder auch zum Beispiel im Winter rückverstromt werden und dann wieder in die Netze eingespeist werden. Dies ermöglicht Energiegemeinschaftsanlagen, Kommunen, Unternehmen, Logistikern, aber auch Landwirten, ihre eigene Sonnenenergie zur Erzeugung von Wasserstoff zu benutzen und mit diesem Wasserstoff emissionsfreie Logistik herzustellen.
From the very beginning, we feel the urge to move and discover the world. We walk, ride, drive, and travel. We're always on the move to learn, work, relax, keep fit, explore, and of course, to meet each other. When we can't, we confine our very nature. We depend on mobility for ourselves and for moving all those things we need and want in life. We've always been very ingenious when it comes to getting ahead faster, more safely, more reliably, and with greater comfort. Today, we need new solutions for new challenges. This is what drives us. This is why we're so passionate about mobility and always go that extra mile to move beyond what's possible today. We are pioneers in transportation, helping our customers keep the world in motion. As their trusted partner, we create ways to move people sustainably and seamlessly, from the first mile to the last. This is our vision. This is what we're moving toward and beyond.